The following is a special presentation of MRE Uno Division 2. You're watching the 2025 MRE Uno Division 2 Championship. Today, the sun rises on the opening round of the 2025 Division 2 Championship in the BKK. 8 players enter, 4 advance, and 4 will be hanging on by a thread. Today, we bring you the first of 4 opening round matchups. A matchup of 2 players who once played through an LCQ to make their way to a championship berth. For Pikachu, he did that LCQ run last year, and this year, he's the 5 seed. The T4 run was paramount to him getting this spot, and he now looks to redeem himself after a disappointing end in the championship a season ago. Meanwhile, for Evan, he just went through the LCQ gauntlet, Bob, Ross, and Ami to get here, and is now feeling himself after dropping those 2 formidable opponents. And his reward for that, another formidable contender. His house money will be stacked high in this one, as he is the 12 seed now, looking to try and make more waves in Bangkok. Who comes out on top today? Who will advance for a chance at D1 and stay on the winner's side? Who gets red in round 2? We will find out the answer to all those questions here in just a moment. It's the 5-12 game in the opening round of the Division 2 Championship. It's Pikachu, it's Evan, and it's next on MRE Uno.
The festivities for the MRA postseason continue here in D2 as we begin our second annual D2 championship, and we are about to get things rolling here. Hello everyone, I am G-Man, and welcome to the first match of the 2025 D2 championship under the blanket of Bangkok again. MRE this year with the playoffs has the Bangkok theme, and D2 no different. We are going to kick things off here with a peculiar matchup. It's going to be 2 players who have come from the B bracket of the LCQ. However, one of them did it last season and the other this season. Number 5 seed A.Pikachu, or Amazing Pikachu, the 2024 LCQ B bracket winner against number 12 seed Evan, the 2025 LCQ B bracket winner. It's going to be an interesting one to see how this breaks down. But we'll get into it, and starting off with the resume. So we'll start with Pikachu, who's the higher seed. Again, we had a lot of people who had 8 wins here. Pikachu no different, but his season was a little bit all over the place. Did not start off great. Started out by getting swept out of the round 64 by Scars. Not the start he wanted, especially since he was one of the higher seeds coming into the season. But since then, he slowly had to rebuild himself throughout. Archery April did a little better round of 16, lost to Rana 4-2. But then it was tournament 3 and tournament 4 where really he started to pick things up. Had another round of 16 exit in tournament 3, but picked up some good wins there and lost out to Cyan there. But then just this July, broke through when he needed to, made the Final 4, had a really good run, was in a very stacked Final 4 field, ultimately lost out to MyHale 5-3 in that one in the Final 4, but had wins on Atomic, Emmy, No Outrider, Hole, Puzzle Dam, White Spider, J Money, White Spider, J Money. Some big wins there that help him out there. Emmy, another notable win to add as well. But it's been quite the season for Pikachu. Really solid record against the playoff field, and in general is looking to try to go on a far run this tournament, as last season in the D2 championship while making it out through the LCQ ultimately went 2-out and did not go the way he was hoping for. He hopes to get his first win in the D2 championship today. And then for Evan, one of the three rookies who are in this field here. 4, 1, and 4. He had to go through the LCQ. He was one of the lower seeds in the LCQ actually, but made it out. But for his season, started off pretty solid. Round of 16 exit against Mark 5-4 was a really close match there. Beat Tevin in a bit of a slip up there. Lost to J Money 4-2. En route to J Money's run to win the tournament there. So ultimately, just kind of got a bit of an unlucky draw there. And then Meteorological May, round of 16, lost to Ami in that one 4-1. Again, had another decent tournament, although unfortunately got struck with a DQ win in that one. Beat Breath and Jordy in that. Breath with his beat DQ win, and then Justice July beat Pyre in the round of 64, but lost to West in the round of 32. Lost that one 4-2, and was able to sneak into the LCQ with technically that fifth win being the DQ win, which with numbers counted. And through the LCQ, was able to hang on, survive, beat Bob Ross 4-2. And a really good showing, and then it was ultimately able to take it from Ami 4-1 after being able to capitalize on a frenzy of +4s. But Evan makes it in here, and now we'll go into the bracket. And we'll take a look at this bracket now. Again, this is the first time we're taking a look at the full finalized bracket here. Again, 12 players, double elimination. This will be the opening round here. Everyone who loses in this round will go into loses round 1 and will face another player who loses in the quarterfinals. But again, we have this schedule all lined up here. Mace Pikachu, Evan will go up next, but then at 4 p.m. it'll be Luke and Geo right down below at 7v10 matchup. A lot of interesting things to talk about with that match. Luke, the February Flurry winner, Geo barely sneaking into the field with his consistency. And then wrapping up this round will be tomorrow, 5 p.m. J Money vs. Joao, which is a rematch of the Archery April finale. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch out for. And then Ridley Taco wrapping it up with some late After Dark After Dark Uno. Ridley vs. Taco 8v9 winner that will face MyHale. So it's going to be an interesting setup here. We're going to jump into the stream here. I am joined by that is not right. Okay, the watch party is not correct there. It's not showing most people, but I could fix that in a second. But while I try to fix that, I am joined by Leah here, who is currently not on the watch party screen. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but Leah, this is the opening of the D2 Championship here. It's a fight between two people who have experience with the LCQ. Pikachu was able to go on a late season surge to find himself in this spot. Evan, on the other hand, able to find the run through the LCQ here. Both of these players go head to head. Want to start this D2 Championship off on the right foot. Your thoughts going into this match on what both players bring to the table here and how they're going to be able to get the job done?
Yeah, thank you for having me, G. And I think this is a really interesting match to start out with. Obviously, Pikachu has the stronger resume if you're just comparing them bar for bar. But I think this has the potential to be a closer match than people expect because although Evan, less experienced player and didn't have quite the strongest showing in the main season, really showed that he has a lot of untapped potential, I would say, through his performance in the LCQ. So I'm really looking forward to see what these two can do against each other, and I think it's going to be closer than people expect.
All right, there we go. As the list gets updated, but thank you, Leah. We'll go to our players now to start. I'm not quite sure. I think they might be typing, but we'll see. Pikachu, we'll start with you. It's been quite the season. You ultimately find yourself in the D2 Championship this time as an at-large rather than having to go through the LCQ. And you ultimately land up in a matchup against the LCQ B winner, the same place you came from last season. Your thoughts going into this one on just generally the expectation here and what you try to do, is you're technically the only player in this field who was in the D2 Championship last year as well. Sorry about that. But for Pikachu, main goal is to not get shit out to 0-2 again like last year, which is fair enough. Does not want that to occur. But we'll see how that pans out. We'll go to Evan here. Since I think Pikachu is going to keep it short and sweet. Evan, I mean, you made it through the LCQ here. You were towards the bottom of the seeding here, but that did not deter you to make it into this field here. Definitely are going to be an underdog throughout this bracket, but I think that's kind of boosted your mentality a little bit in terms of trying to make it as far as you can since you did make it out of the LCQ as the 4 seed. But your thoughts going into this one, going up against Pikachu, who has one of the more prolific styles in this division, and just your general thoughts on what you do to try to get the win here now that you're in the D2 Championship and looking to fight and go as far as you can. Again, we'll see what.
While we wait for Evan's response here, I think you brought up a very good point, G. Pikachu in such an interesting position, having been in the D2 Championship before, really looking for vengeance from what happened last year.
Yep. Again, with Pikachu, had a really good run through LCQ B, which was a much larger field because the bar was much lower last season. Um, kind of was able to make up for the fact he joined the league in the middle of the season as well with that, but also was not unfortunately not able to get much going in the D2 Championship here. I think with that experience, that could help him a little bit here as he looks to try to obviously try to win the championship, but of course also try to get as far as he can to try to get one of those promotion spots. But for Evan, looking for a lot of +4s again, fair enough. That is technically a winning strategy. But how reliable that will be in execution, we will have to see. With that all being said, I think we are ready to begin the DC Championship officially. Nick is going to be our ref for this one. Pikachu will have the call for game 1. We'll see where he starts, and then we'll get things underway. All right, full send to start.
Yeah, that is interesting. Of course, we're working with D2 CSR, so that does not take this off the table for the finale.
Again, D2 running MCSR for this bracket again. Most of the bracket will be best of 7-1 power play with the respective finals being best of 9, which would be winners finals, losers finals, and grand finals. But Pikachu gonna open up with a red 2 here, not gonna do anything too crazy. My OBS keeps disconnecting occasionally as well, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but that's not gonna cause issues in terms of the stream going out. It just might cause some slight lag issues, but well, Pikachu tried to go for the yellow, but Evan denied with the red.
It's an interesting, it seems like what you'd expect from someone called Pikachu trying to go into the electric color. And he goes for it again, this time with a 1.
I'm not sure if Evan's going to be able to have the crossover for a second time here. But no, he actually does. It's not going to be back to red, but it is going to go to green. So he is kind of avoiding this yellow so far.
Yeah, one has to wonder if that's a lack of yellow or just an attempted fade. I'm sure we'll see later on.
Well, I mean, we are kind of going through this quickly. I mean, 6 turns straight with only numbers so far. It's kind of what you see sometimes with these full send starts, though.
Right. Although on a 15 card start, you can only assume both players have some ammo in their back pocket. They're just saving until the time is right.
Yeah, I mean, that's also the fear with the full send as well, because technically it puts some players in a position where they can just kind of hold on to that ammo. But Pikachu's the first to draw here, so out on green.
Ooh, Evans switches into the blue. Arguably putting himself in the driver's seat here, has a 1 card advantage right now.
Well, I mean, like, it does help him out, and that's the first ammo card we see with the blue reverse. That gives him a little bit of a gap, maybe throws a bit of a warning shot that Pikachu will have to see. Could also just be he's out on blue.
Yeah, the way Evan works with these cards, these switches, is interesting to me. Gotta wonder if he has a 5, he can switch to another color here.
Gets the
Or he
blue
can
1.
continue to run blue, I guess.
Keeps the blue alive. I'm also going to mention on the scoreboard here, the records are for the regular season. That's what you see there. In terms of the playoffs, Evan has an additional 2 wins as well, but technically that's LCQ, so that's a little different. And Pikachu goes on a big run here, throws a +2 at the start as well, tries to throw Evan back and gets that yellow. He has been trying to find this yellow all game.
And that certainly makes up the gap. Going into yellow, it looks like Evan does have it. That could potentially be saved or from the +2. We don't know.
think the interesting thing though is that Pikachu is actually now able to play this yellow, Evan not doing a draw. And now Pikachu is out on the
Yeah.
yellow. This is the color he's been wanting all game, and he's out
Yeah,
after
ate the
two.
word quickly there. Pikachu's so eager to get to yellow and yet ran out of it so fast. But it's so interesting how Evan doesn't seem to want to go for icing out Pikachu as much as finding the switches and playing his own cards where he can. Now
I mean,
we saw that run earlier from Pikachu. We've only seen a single reverse from Evan so far, which leads me to believe he's probably holding something. As he gets down to 4 cards, Pikachu at 6, like any moment could really be pulling the trigger here.
definitely in a position to be able to do that, but for Pikachu taking a second to think about this, and oh my God, what on earth was that?
I believe that was a 6 card finish.
And that came off a switch too, as well. Well, that's insane.
My goodness. Yeah, that really swept the momentum straight out of Evan's feet. Really thought he might have had that there.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what to say on that one. I mean, I mean, in some parts, that's good ammo control from Pikachu, but at the same time, also, that definitely was a blind side there. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that to come. Um, but I'm curious what the draw was for Pikachu because he did have to draw on that yellow. I'm curious if maybe he got a connector there that might have helped him make that work, or if that was just kind of like a green 2 or something like that, where it doesn't really matter. But blue +2. Oh wow, so that did ultimately become a connector there. So
Now the biggest question on my mind is, Evan, did you have any ammo you were saving up there? Like, how far away were you from a potential finish?
again, we'll see what Evan has to say on that. But I mean, again, that game just ended all of a sudden.
Oh, that's really rough for Evan, especially on a full send. Only getting a blue reverse and no draw cards is it's tough to work with that.
Yeah, I mean, with no ammo to start, that's gonna be rough. But I mean, with most of that game, it felt like Evan had a decent grasp of it because I mean, even though he wasn't really, he was a bit of it having a bit of a struggle in the ammo, he was kind of able to find those connections there. But ultimately, Pikachu just kind of having the ammo at the start and then just kind of finding that connection at the end really just kind of was what blew that game up. So I don't think that was a badly played game by Evan, especially with what he had. But I mean, Pikachu. Ultimately, I think Pikachu did a decent job of trying to not show his hand too much, even though it took some draws to do that. Pikachu opening up pretty good with a 1-0, but we'll go to game 2 now. But Pikachu still has to call. He just can't pick 15. I'm curious if he'll still stay high. Yeah, he's still gonna stay high, so goes with 14.
Yeah,
Which I mean,
interesting thing about high card starts is usually it guarantees some ammo. Typically you see ammo on both sides, though I suppose last game is is an indicator that sometimes it's a bit lopsided even at 15. But keeping it high, it means there's probably going to be more on average at each player's disposal.
alright, well, Pikachu does a self-data at the start, and that actually gives the opening for Evan to switch to yellow.
See, a bit of a reversal from last game there when we saw Pikachu as the one always trying to get into yellow.
Yellow 4. Tries
Both
to
players
keep
are
it rolling.
comfortable running here for now.
Yellow 5, alright. Keeps it going on the yellow train, so unlike last game, Pikachu able to keep this rolling on the yellow. Evan is still drawing, though, so Evan, surprisingly, with not much on this yellow, despite it being a 14-card start.
That's interesting. Sometimes they get stuck with a hand with limited options. We saw that last game.
Alright, well, running red now. Look at the table real quick. Here's your where currently things currently stand, although -2 on Evan there. Again, Evan again playing the first ammo card of the game, and it's going to be a reverse once again.
Hopefully that reverse is not the only thing he has this time.
That is going to be the hope for Evan here. We'll have to see. He is typing up something. He is going to type up a ditto.
But I
I did
think
not. I think we had two
I,
people who did the wrong thing on that one.
I think more than anything, Evan has shown he's quite resilient and good at making the most of his hand, even in tough situations.
Well, Pikachu drew on the red, but Evan decides to go for the green switch there. Not going to try to rally the draws on the red.
Right, we saw this last time in the previous game. It seems like Evan is very much would rather have equal action on both sides, both players throwing out whatever they have as opposed to a draw city type of situation.
Pikachu again with another draw here, kind of just scrambling a little bit. We did see this a little bit in the last game where he was scrambling, but then suddenly found that run. But Evan has found a +6 and goes into blue.
Ooh. Out of 6 freshies to Pikachu in the first wild of the series.
All right, gonna do a little slap in the face, which is fair enough. Just got thrown +6, but yeah, Pikachu definitely goes a little bit behind in this one here, but we are still saying blue.
Considering Pikachu's ammo control last game, I wouldn't be surprised if that +2 is not the extent of what he has stored up.
Evan with a good amount of blue here, just kind of slowly running it down here. Pikachu just also keeping it blue.
Yeah, with a 7 card advantage as well, it's really looking like this game might be approaching its end unless Pikachu pulls something out at the last second.
Didn't want to risk it. Goes to the +4 there. I'm wondering if maybe he was banking on Evan running out of blue, but Evan just simply never ran out of it. So um
That
I think
just about evens up the scoreboard.
that might take out one of Pikachu's options for a finish though, and Evan, again, still no yellow for Evan on
Yeah.
the 5. That's insane.
That is a tough position to be in if you're Evan.
Ooh, guess the switch off yellow goes into green. Does that disrupt Pikachu? No, it does not. He goes back in the blue. 402, 403. We're about to hit the 407 mark. And it's a wild yellow now. Suddenly the momentum is on Pikachu's side. And Evan has the block with the green wild here. We'll see if it does anything. Yes, it does. Blocks out Pikachu. Now Evan looking to take the momentum back for himself. Greenscape reverse and ooh, got away with it. Didn't call Uno there.
Yeah,
It was a little bit of a late call.
that was risky. Pikachu missed the opportunity to call out despite actively checking the table in his own words.
We'll see if this response. Nothing from Pikachu. Does Evan have it? No, Evan is out. We're 1 card short. Now he's in the position for top deck territory here. We'll see what happens. And it looks like for now we're going to have a draw city. Oh, I stand corrected. Red 9. Does Evan get the Uno here? No, he does not. But now Pikachu is running this red here, and ultimately, with Evan still drawing, if Pikachu can keep this running down, this might ultimately backfire on Evan. Your thoughts here, so we potentially go into the late stages of this.
Yeah, Evan is really running out of options here.
Well, that might give him
But
some life.
yeah, the formation of
Well,
a draw city here potentially might
that's
save the
technically a ditto.
game. That's
So Evan with
that's
back-to-back
a
red skips into draws.
very amusing ditto. Very amusing position as a whole. Evan decides to switch again as opposed to taking the draw city. He's made this move over and over again, and it hasn't worked so far. But
Well, this time it's gonna work because Evan was down low, so the double is gonna end it, and that's gonna make it 1-1. That's also gonna make it where the streak of no sweeps in the D2 Championship is gonna continue no matter what the outcome of this one is. So, Evan finds a way to get that one there after a tedious draw city to end that one. But Evan, thoughts on that one? You tie it up here. You get the homestand for game 3. But I guess how was the hand in that one, especially since you mentioned how you didn't have much in the first game, and for that game it looked like at points you were kind of running down to the line, but ultimately couldn't find the connections to wrap it up. But your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting situation going 1-1 like this. I think Evan made a few risky moves that I might not have in his position. But it seems like it worked out for him this time, even if that's potentially just because he had maybe a slight ammo advantage compared to the first game.
I mean, you see with Pikachu there, I mean, yellow versus yellow 6 was one away, so ultimately the wild green did save Evan there. But
We're definitely seeing a close series so far. Obviously only 2 games in, but I get the sense that we might see a lot of back and forth.
yeah, I mean, definitely that's kind of the opener here. Definitely showing back and forth. Pikachu kind of swept in and stole game one out of nowhere, but for this one, definitely back and forth with them and just kind of wrapped it up with the switch he needed. Um, got more ammo this time, but it was a whole lot of toss random BS until it worked out for me. Okay, so just kind of just throwing darts against the wall, throwing stuff against the wall until something sticks. But ultimately for Evan, it did stick, and he gets the game 2 win. But I mean, with that, we'll jump to game 3 here. Pikachu again mentioning he could have won with the power play after Wild Yellow. Ultimately, elected not to use it again. With one power play, it's definitely a decision. It's one to use it. Some people just like saving it to the end, but we've seen in the past sometimes you just kind of get burnt out on it, and ultimately you have to take it home with you, which is not really the scenario you want. But we'll see
And
how this goes.
sometimes
Evan has game 3, but Leah,
yeah,
your thoughts?
it definitely depends on the situation. Sometimes you see an opportunity and it's good to jump on it, um, because you don't really know when it's going to turn up.
Well, game 3 underway, and we go with 9, so a bit lower than we've seen in the first 2 games.
Not fully into the low tier, but around that low to mid territory.
Blue 9 and Troy, and this is kind of this is interesting. I mean, someone has been weak on a color from the start in every single game thus far. But I mean, Pikachu gets a quick break off the blue, but that's
Yep.
not going to help him later down the line potentially.
Yeah, Evan's been very consistent. Whenever Pikachu runs out on a color, he doesn't go for the draw city, he goes for continuing to play.
Well, for Pikachu, he just drew on yellow now, so now he's looking to be stuck on 2 color at the moment. Crossover into green, I don't think that's going to hurt him too much.
Yeah, I think this is the fastest we've seen all 4 colors in a game this series.
Green 4, green
Definitely working with a
7.
faster pace on this 9 card start. Evan already down to 2 in that, firmly in that red zone.
Evan is trying to look for a quick game here.
We haven't seen a
Kind of
single
stealing
action
Pikachu's
card.
mojo. Ooh, Green Zero's gonna force a draw though. Can you take a little bit of
Returning
a
to the
risk?
red, we saw just a taste of early on.
It is a bit risky here. It's gonna get him to Uno.
Yeah, from Evan, I have to wonder what that last card is.
That's the problem. You don't really know because ultimately it could be that draw, or it could be one of these two was the draw. You really are in a tough spot here if you're Pikachu.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where Pikachu takes this.
Well, okay. Hmm.
Suppose a
Went for this.
+4 into the same color doesn't hurt.
Did go for the safe route there to just keep the game going, but ultimately
It
Evan's gonna
really
get the
does show that
switch.
he has his limits when it comes to other colors, and Evan is quick to capitalize on that, going back into the green and running with it.
Gets a wild yellow there. Still nothing, and Pikachu is in massive trouble here. And that'll do it. 213 on that one. I guess I
Wow.
get for Evan there. I guess what was the last card on that one? Especially with how that ultimately played out. Because I think the really interesting thing is whether Pikachu ultimately the +4 was the call or not. Because if it was not red or a wilds, then ultimately that might have just gave him the win.
Yeah, Evan says thank you for laying down that +4. Clearly, it helped him out somewhat. Pikachu asking the question we're all thinking.
Oh man,
Yellow
it was a
9.
yellow 9, so I think ultimately the +4 was the wrong play.
For sure, because there was no way Evan would have gotten to the point he did without a few draws otherwise.
Yeah, to me it feels like for Pikachu he had a lot of red there. Um, so ultimately that's gonna be one that he's gonna wish he could take back, but again, it's like those 50-50s that really this game comes down to, and ultimately there's an example of one right there where it did not work out.
Yep, sometimes you just get unlucky.
Yeah, but Evan goes up 2-1 here. I know Pikachu is typing something here. We'll see what he has to say and then jump to game 4. Reverse red 3, red 2, blue +2, and a +4. Oh man, so I mean would have been able to
Yeah, just could have burned through the red and plus forward into the blue, and that would have taken it.
yeah. Um that does put Pikachu in a bit of a hill to climb though. He is down 2-1 though. Evan has game 4 looking to make it 3-1 here.
Pikachu known for his ups and downs, though. I'm sure he has the capability to bounce back from this. Only 3 games in.
Right. Evan gonna go back a little higher, goes to 11. Sticking in that mid card range, yellow 8. We'll see if we have someone who draws early on a color though, because that's kind of what we've seen so far. With someone just has either only 1 or 0 cards on a color to start, which is interesting, especially when we haven't drawn any like no sense or anything like that.
Yes, sticking with that kind of mid-tier territory seems to be Evan's strong suit.
Well, there you go. Again, there's someone with nothing to start on a color, and it's gonna be green for Evan.
Yeah, we see a very consistent pattern
Ooh.
of specific color weaknesses here.
Yeah, Pikachu not letting Evan get off scot-free on the screen here. He's gonna have to keep
Pikachu's
drawing.
certainly running the driver's seat right now, sticking a green. 0, I mean.
Yeah, I think for Pikachu, he's gonna want to make sure he gets this game win here, because then he'll go into game 5 with the home stand and be able to kind of control the tempo from there.
No, this one's a crucial game because it very much defines the tone for the rest of the series.
Too early for drives. Wait until tomorrow for drives. I mean, we will have a drive game tomorrow. Unfortunately, Tapir was not available, so it's gonna be short, and I think Nick, so they will be driving, but again, that'll be 11 p.m. So make sure to tune in for that one. Definitely some of the more chaotic fun of this league. But Pikachu's out on red now. Evan looking to capitalize.
Mhm. Yep, Evan is just about tied up the table here. Both players at 6. Wonder what his next move is. Seen before, if he's out of red, we know he's not going to go for the draw city here. He's going to go for a switch. But he's been typing for quite a while, so he may be loading up a large run. No way to know for sure.
I mean, if that's the case, would it be a 6 card run similar to Pikachu? No, it's just gonna be a wild.
Very interesting. I did indeed call it. We've seen every game so far. When Evan runs out, he's not gonna sit there and draw.
I mean, for Pikachu, this is not looking good at the moment.
But the blue may have opened up an avenue for him as he was able to respond with a 1. Really just depends on what, if any, ammo Evan has stored up here.
It's gonna be a finish
Oof.
there, so 5 card run. And I'm curious if maybe Evan was just deciding whether he wanted to go with the wild yellow or the wild blue. Like maybe that was the choice there, but I mean 3-1, and suddenly this has completely turned the other way here. This is ultimately in terms of scoreline kind of similar to Evan running the LCQ B final, but it was a no, the call out was not gonna work because he said yellow 5 first. Yeah. So actually, Evan did not go for the Uno there, so technically that could have worked, but unfortunately, Pikachu was just a fraction of a second too late. So that could have actually ultimately backfired on Evan, but he had that typed out right.
Yeah,
Wow.
always important to know how to split up your chains.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'm really seeing from this series, I mean, Evan's getting wilds, but I think ultimately it's just kind of been Evan has been able to make the right plays here, um, either with the connections or the numbers here. I don't think this is a similar case where we saw in the match against Ami where he was just kind of able to steamroll with the plus fours. I mean, you see right here, there's only been 3+4s, and it's actually a 2-1 in favor of Pikachu here. So, I mean, for Pikachu, gonna have to try to figure something out here to not go in the losers bracket early, but I mean, Evan, your thoughts on that one? I mean, it seemed like for there you were able to kind of just run that one to the line, but you did nearly get called out though, so that was a close call there, but ultimately you escape unharmed. But your thoughts on getting that win, going up 3-1, and now possibly being in the driver's seat to go into winners quarters? Yeah, well, we'll see what
Yeah,
Evan has to say on that.
looking at what Pikachu has to say here, seems like it was a bit of an inversion from game one where he had no ammo and Evan um had a lot.
Yeah,
If we take a quick
potentially.
check in on the stats, Pikachu's up on +2s and +4s. Evan has everything else.
hmm I mean, skips are relatively even, and then like the, I mean, the plus four. There's been very few plus fours. I mean, only three. So plus fours have not played that big of a factor thus far.
Right. Looks like we've done a good job summarizing how things have gone for Evan so far. He says his words have been said for him.
All right, you know what? Fair enough. He just wants to jump into game five here, trying to find the comeback, and he's gonna go with 13.
Consistently running the high tier that worked for him earlier in the series. Now, this is match point. This is potential for Evan to take it all home here. Still got his power play behind him. But if Pikachu's able to um, take this game, I think that really swings the momentum back in his favor.
Well, we open with green here after Pikachu switches off the blue, and both players able to run it thus far. And for Pikachu, this is gonna be a critical game to win to try to get some momentum back on his side. Evan draws on green. Both may have ran out on green at the same time though, as Pikachu switches to red. So maybe a three-color game incoming. But yeah, not
Yeah, we
trying to
saw that
run.
switch off of blue at the very start and haven't returned to it since.
Everybody's taking a second to think on this one. Gonna go with red 8.
It
Pikachu's
seems like he
out on red.
might have had the opportunity to switch there, but chose to continue playing on the red.
Gonna go to the red line once again, but Pikachu has to switch the yellow.
It's potentially Pandora's box on the yellow. Both players still at quite a few cards right now. I doubt we'll see anything too heavy come out, but you never know.
Well, there's the blue, and there's the yellow once again. Pikachu doing the crossover back in the yellow, really wants it.
Yeah, solid undercut there.
Does Evan have another blue 9, or is he going to have to go with the yellow? He is, but he's gonna have a double to go with it as well.
Yeah, that double makes me think Evan might be out of the yellows after this, especially considering how eager he was to switch, but I guess we'll have to see.
Well, not gonna
Another
find out. He
switch.
switched the red.
Yep,
Pikachu technically has the position arrow lead.
both players running this quite comfortably earlier, and now they're returning back to the red to run through it again.
Hmm. Well, both are now out. So, well, I was going to say draw city going. Pikachu gets a top deck red 1, and we're out of it with the blue. And Pikachu down to 4, looking for the run here. He's going to get it, and it's actually going to be a fatal switch there on the blue. And that's going to be 3-2 Pikachu here. I mean, it's Pikachu only had a blue +2 that entire game on the blue, and ultimately it comes in when it counts. Um, so I mean, again, I think it's for Pikachu, just kind of did a good job being able to at least conserve some of that. I'm not sure if some of that came on draws or whatnot, but Pikachu kind of again just out of nowhere gets the fatal switch and ends it with a big run. But I mean, Pikachu, how much of that was a save? How much of that was kind of built through the draw cities, and just your thoughts being able to get that one back, try to get the series back in your favor? Only got numbers from draw city. Okay, so that was all held then. Yeah, because Pikachu drew, got a red 1, and just needed to find a switch to either green or blue, and got it. And that was just
It's
lost.
interesting. It's interesting seeing there's such a high correlation between one player having more ammo than the other, and that player taking home any given game. You know, it's when you put it like that, it sounds obvious, but a lot of the time, ammo plays less of a role. So I just find it interesting how defining it's been in these games.
Yeah, I mean, +4, if anything, if we're anything to take, I mean, +4s have played such a minimal factor in this series. I think only one +4 was involved in a finish, and that was like to close it. So technically it was a bit of a junk card, but um, still, it's interesting with how this has played out. Um, I mean, Pikachu's 6-2 on the +2s. He's hoping for some more of that, but yeah, for Evan, I mean, he said he was lost. I'm not sure if he has anything else to say. I'm assuming Evan did not really have a ton there to work with, just trying to find the board, and then ultimately just kind of stumble on the wrong color there. But I mean, again, 3-2. Pikachu looking to force Game 7 here to open the D2 Championship, which would be exciting. But Evan looking to wrap things up in Game 6 here. It's Evan's call, not yours. It's Evan's. Pikachu trying to Pikachu trying to nab one there real quick, but Evan's gonna go with a no send. So gonna roll the
Oh
dice.
goodness. Ooh, yeah. 5 cards, 1 game away with the power play too. I'm very curious to see how this goes. Because if the ammo lands in Pikachu's favor, that totally shifts the momentum.
Well, power play is now active, so if someone has a big finish, it could come here. Um, Evan only has red reverse, and he's out. Pikachu is just straight up out.
Might see
So
a early draw city on the red here.
yeah, so ultimately, I don't think
So
this is
there
going to be
goes
a
the
quick finish.
idea. Yeah, there goes the idea of a like 4 or 5 card finish at the start. We're not seeing a 30-second game here.
I mean, for Pikachu, he did not want to see a 30-second game because that could have been the end of it. But both are just going to draw back and build up their deck potential, build up their hand potentially. Pikachu did want to say, well, I mean, the 30-second game in your favor, but if it wasn't in your favor, the series would be over. But Pikachu actually does have the card lead at the moment. He switches the blue, so that breaks Draw City, so maybe able to go on a run here. So ultimately, this could pan out in his favor. I'm gonna note this also. And Pikachu is typically known for the lightning quick typing style that he's done, but I think so far he's been more of like a little bit more middle pace.
He's
We've seen some
definitely
quick gameplay, but I don't think it's been as electric fast as we've seen in the past.
no. Pikachu's definitely on his toes this game. You can understand why. It's the championship. Obviously he doesn't want to get knocked out uh into the losers bracket immediately.
Well, I mean, it's getting close here. So yellow skip, yellow 1, down to 2. Evan is out.
Momentum definitely in Pikachu's favor. 2 cards left.
And that's gonna do it.
That's gonna be the finish. Yeah.
Well, you just have to say the color and it'll go through. There you go.
There you go. There
210.
you go.
Wow. And we're going to game 7 to open up the D2 championship. Nick is pleased with that one. But Pikachu. Well, hold on. We gotta just kind of break this down a little bit first. Don't need to jump into it right away. I mean, Pikachu. Obviously the opening did not end up working. Opening did not work out for a quick finish there. But I mean, I think ultimately it came down to the draws. You were able to kind of run it down there, and despite getting a little bit stuck on blue, ultimately found a way. I mean, I guess the question for me is where was the +4? I would assume it came somewhere in the draws, but I'm curious if the +4 actually came from that one. Oh, one of each color to start. Oh wow, okay, so that's actually not a great hand, even though you have the +4, because none of those are connected at all. So I mean, the only way Pikachu was going to be able to win that is if we were light switching on the start. But okay, so the +4 came from the start then. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, ultimately, I think Pikachu was kind of able to find his way through some of the draws there to get connections. Because I mean, from that start, there's no connections to be found, and the +4 would have kind of been wasted if he just used it, unless he got rid of 3 of the colors. But I mean, Evan, any thoughts on that game? You went for 5. You want to give a little insight as to why you ultimately wanted to try to bank on the no send there, and your thoughts heading into game 7 here, with along the line here, because loser of this goes into the losers bracket and the winner continues on in winners.
Yeah, it's a very high stakes game for sure.
Very close one as well. It's exciting that we're starting off this T2 championship with a game 7.
Oh, of course, especially considering both players have saved their power play to this point. It's really just going to be a race to see who gets down to the fewest cards first.
Indeed. I mean, we know we know we're gonna go with 12 here, but again, just kind of quickly seeing what Evan has to say. Wanted to try to limit the amount of ammo. So actually, Evan was kind of going the opposite route, where he wanted the a bit of the draws to go with his the drawing game to go out. So he did get that, but I think ultimately it didn't pan out the way he was hoping. Because I mean, Evan got close. He was down to 3, but ultimately ran out on yellow, and then it was kind of curtains from there. But
it was an unlucky situation.
yeah. Fortunately, that's kind of sometimes this game just comes down to being lucky at the right time there. So
Yeah.
we'll see we'll see who can be fortunate in this game 7 here. Leah, any final thoughts before we jump into it?
Not really. I'm excited to see how this goes.
All right, well, with that all said, we'll go with 12 here, and game 7 is about to begin, and it's a red 1 to open up here. And this is it. This is the last game here. Winner of this goes into the winners quarterfinal and will face King of Red. So
How fitting that the last game is red.
I don't think he's here right now, but I could feel his presence already.
He's all around us. Evan with a bit of a delayed ditto for the start there.
Yeah. I mean, we're still running red so far, so the red is strong, but Pikachu's gonna break it up with a green.
Yeah, this series as a whole, it's been surprisingly straightforward, I feel, considering a lot of what we see in MRE. I think every game's just started on a number, like no +4 starts, no wild starts or anything crazy like that. We've seen a couple decently long runs, but everything I think has mostly been clean and kosher. So sometimes it's good to have some straightforward Uno.
Yellow 4, yellow 9, red 9. We are running this down here. Gonna mention this also. We're gonna have a little media coverage for the D2 Championship coming up in a little bit later today, as we actually had a bit of an interview series that'll go up in, I believe, Geo's Cafe, the D1 server. We'll forward a link here in D2, but make sure you check that one out as Gio went to each individual player, getting their thoughts going into the playoffs here. But yeah, besides that, going back into the game, he did go to himself, yes. But Pikachu's out on yellow, and so is Evan. So ultimately, the
Ooh.
switch into yellow from Evan is going to be an ice on both sides here.
Yeah, we've seen Evan be very avoidant of Draw City and isolation tactics so far, so it's interesting to see this is what he's going for in the final game.
I mean, with how this is shaping up, I don't necessarily blame him because, I mean, Pikachu is kind of running towards the finish there, so this ultimately stopped the action for a little bit. But Evan's going to go for a bit of a risk here and get the switch to red, but it works out. Pikachu with no red either, so maybe able to run this a little bit because the yellow was dry for both players.
So far, looking good for Evan.
Yeah, I think for Evan, I think with where he's at right now, he does need to take a few risks here and there, but just hoping they don't blow up. Ooh, and wild blue here, so I think this will free up Pikachu, but how much damage is done? Slapped in the face right away with the blue +2, but Pikachu trying to keep his distance right now. Again, we kind of know what the win condition of this is gonna be. It's just kind of waiting to see when it pops up.
Yeah. Again, with both power plays active and out in the open, it's really just a matter of time until one player gets there. Pikachu with 3 cards, very much in that danger zone.
Gets the Uno, but
Gets the no power play, so we know like
we'll
all
see.
logic says it's not. All logic says his last card isn't on blue.
Evan gonna go with the double here. Pikachu cannot finish it, but he's in top deck territory. This is really down to the wire here.
Yeah, this has to be one of the most tense games I've seen in quite some time.
Blue
Both
4.
players, both players at toast. Did Pikachu get a generational top deck here?
It's gonna be kind of tragic for Evan if he does, but
Ooh,
power
looks like
play.
he
Let's see
did.
what it is. Oh, the green 4. No, he didn't make it.
Into a draw? Was that a defensive power play?
Trying to throw an extra card into Evan's hand there. And wow, that's
I
gonna
think
make
everyone
things.
everyone thought that was over.
It's Uno. I mean, maybe that would have been the game right there.
Gosh, I mean, maybe Pikachu does get it here.
And it is over. No, he
Oh
got
my
the
god!
+4.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god, the defensive power play might have actually saved him the game.
That is one of the most ludicrous strategies I've ever seen, and I can't believe that actually worked.
Oh my god, what an insane ending for that one. Pikachu survives and moves on. That is it. We need to break that one down. I mean, how on... I don't even know how that even happened. I mean, for Evan, that's got to be a heartbreaker. My question really is like, what was the extra draw there? Because I mean, if it was not the greenscape reinforced, I mean that genuinely just saved Pikachu the match. That has to be one of the most insanely clutch uses of power plays I've seen. Which I mean, again, obviously some of that relied on luck, but still.
I mean, I'm speechless, G. I don't know. I don't even know what to say
Oh
about
my
that.
god! It actually won him the game.
God, you have to respect that. Like, oh my god.
Oh my, that is an insane ending to this one. I mean, wow. I mean, Evan, the good news is you're still in it, but obviously that is a heartbreaking way to lose that one. Um, I mean, your thoughts after that and just kind of the mentality going into the losers bracket at this point. And I guess what the thought process is going to be there. I mean, that is one of the most insane ways I have ever seen someone both win and lose an Uno game. That is unbelievable. Time to take over losers. Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll go to Pikachu here. I mean, I guess just your thoughts throughout that game because you were close a few times, and especially with the ending there, because it looked like you were in no man's land and ultimately just going for, I mean, ultimately just going for the power play there on green, which actually ends up saving you the match. It's not a direct finish from your end because you had the draw again, but I mean, just the thoughts and emotions through that one to ultimately get the top deck you needed on the second round, and that is your first win in the D2 championship. Now you go into winners quarterfinals against Red, looking to keep going further, but I mean that is that I don't think it gets any closer than that. I just wanted to give myself a second chance to get a top deck finish. I was worried Evan was about to go out with his own power play, which I think is fair enough. Um, yeah, because I mean, ultimately, if I mean with Evan getting it, having that blue 4 there, I mean, he literally was one away because he had the 4, he had the green 4 as well, so it would have been green 4, green skip, but man, that is an unbelievable way for that one to end. I mean, especially, I feel like the plus 4s kind of get um a little bit misleading as well there as well because I mean obviously one of them came to the top deck to win that one, but ultimately plus 4s did not really play that big of a factor throughout this series. Evan was honestly doing a really good job kind of getting through his game wins even without like the plus 2s or even just kind of using some other connections. But well, I mean, Leah, do you have any thoughts on that one? That was that was an insane start to this championship here, and I'm wondering if that could be a sign of things to come.
I really wish I had more to say because what a sight to behold with this game. But I've never had a series leave me as speechless as this one, and I can only hope the rest of the chip is half as exciting as this series was. I mean, absolutely hats off to both players, but Pikachu for that strategy deserves applause. Like that was insane.
Yeah, again, I mean, we talked about going to Game 7, who will the fortunes favor, and I think especially with that play there, I mean, obviously that was a very risky play to go for since you just burnt the power play with no clear path, but the fortune favors the bold, and Pikachu just able to find an escape out of that. But we'll go into the bracket, which not quite updated, but Pikachu moves on in a very close match. He'll face Red. Evan goes into losers bracket. He will face the loser of the winners quarterfinal match between Cyan Titan and then whoever wins Luke versus Geo. So that'll be his opponent in losers round one. But I mean, what a start to this championship this has been. Really intricate match back and forth. Pikachu able to come back from 3-1 down and survive at the brink of his teeth. Evan gave it all he had, and I thought played an amazing game, but ultimately, unfortunately, the top decks did not come in favor for him at the end there. But um, yeah, but again, for the rest of this opening round, 4 p.m. later today, about 2 hours, we'll have Luke and Geo go at it. The face-off winner that goes up against Cyan Titan, and then tomorrow we'll wrap up the opening round. J Money Joao Archer April rematch, and then the finale of the opening round, Ridley versus Taco with some MRE Uno after dark. That'll be exciting. Short will take you through the rest of this round here. That's it for me for now, but again, it's quite a start to the D2 championship. This is only the start. We still have a lot more to play. really excited for what will be a very competitive tournament here. Again, we've never had a sweep in the D2 Championship, both from last season and also starting off this season. So hopefully we can keep that streak going. But until then, on behalf of the MRE Uno team, and everyone who came out to watch, including my co-commentator Leah, thank you all so much for watching. Congratulations to the Pikachu on a very insane win. One of the most insane probably of the entire season. And for Evan, best of luck to him as he goes into the losers bracket. Still not out of the tournament, still got a shot. But we'll be trying to fight from down under for the rest of this one. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all in about 2 hours for our next match with Luke and Gio. But until then, take care, everyone.
You've been watching the 2025 MRE Uno Division II Championship.